My name is Don Gerard, and amongst other things, I am the mayor of Champaign, Illinois. I work at the University of Illinois. I have a day job. I'm a dad, and I play a little music every now and then as well. So, a few things. Mostly mayor stuff, though, anymore. Well, you know, the music thing wasn't happening. I played in some bands. I played in some fairly successful bands. I played a band, put out 3 records on Roadrunner Records. Internationally did okay. Had a minor college radio hit in the 90s. You know, we did pretty well. But it just wasn't, you know, wasn't paying for the beans and tortillas. It wasn't a big thing. And I always enjoyed writing, doing comedy and stuff. So I figured maybe the politics thing would help, you know, launch my career in comedy, actually. So I'm hoping that this will get me some exposure so that I can get back into doing what I really love. So I love this city, and it was an opportunity at the level of where the Champaign mayor sits. There's not a lot of power. I'm the liquor commissioner, which is the most power that I have. Otherwise, I'm a single vote and a voice. So I figure in representing the community, I want to just try to make as many things happen as I can. You know, whether it's finding just the absolute best darn police chief you could find anywhere and getting him in place, or having a summer youth employment program, putting kids to work, giving them job training, giving them experience, providing mentors, or supporting our local, you know, schools with their band programs or athletics, or local organizations that, you know, whether it's a soup kitchen or whether it's a Smile Healthy, you know, providing dental health or whatever it may be, just getting out there, really being proud of the things in our community, celebrating, you know, my fellow Champaign Central alum Tyler McGill, gold medal swimmer at the Olympics this year. So just really, I love this city, and I just want to make it, you know, help to make it the best it can be, and it's nice to sit in this position and just do, you know, do whatever I can do. Yes, Saturday night, yeah, ran in high heels. It was disturbing how good I was, to be honest. I started having visions of having my Adam's apple shaved and trying to add diva to my resume. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Junior League in Champaign, very involved. Great group of young women, young professionals who do a lot of really fantastic things for our community. You know, great cause, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to do it. So, you know, just like to have fun. I finished about the middle of the pack, though. Actually, I was kind of impressed. You know, when I first started out, I thought we would all start running and we'd all kind of be together, and then people might. But I tell you what, right out of the gate, there was girls. It was like they knew it from, you know, going from Cams to Brothers or whatever on a cold night. They just ran in their high heels. So it blew me right out of the water. But I kind of held my own about the middle there. So. Yeah, you know, it's just an honor to be nominated. to be on a list with Sonny Bono and the president of Haiti, it's fun. It's one of those things where I look at these things, and I actually had an exchange with the guy who wrote it, and he said it was purely coincidental. He was kind of looking at politicians, and he stumbled across me on the internet, so I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty impressive, really. And anything that I can do to help bring the spotlight to Champaign is fine by me, so I'm happy to trot it out. And, you know, I would like to think, I hope at the end of the day that I, you know, am somebody on that list. There are some impressive people. What is his, is it Peter Garrett, the guy from Midnight Oil? He's a big deal. He was on that list. So he's really a serious political player. But, you know, like I said, it's a fun thing. It's fun to be noticed. You know, I like, you know, I like having fun. So, you know, it helps. So whatever we can do. Again, it's just an honor to be nominated. I think Wolf Bear probably has it all over me. So, if you're familiar with Wolf Bear, the people at home watching this know Wolf Bear. I think once you've experienced Wolf Bear, the mayor is a distant second. But you know, we'll just see. Let people vote and see what happens. There was a house right here on Nevada, which is now this big development where there's these restaurants and businesses and things. But it was this old house, and one of our landlords were Keeling and Krause. So the Krause was Alison Krause's dad. You know, won more Grammys than God. Most successful musician in the history of the world or something. She's wonderful. Love Alison. But her dad was one of our landlords, and it was just this old, dilapidated house. Rent was $80 a month a man. There's 10 guys. It was $800. We all crammed in there and lived in squalor. It was truly, it was like, you know, you watch Animal House. It was very, very similar to the Delta House. It's an unaffiliated fraternity. We guys in the house built a skateboard ramp in the front, and bands played at parties. We would have raging keggers, and a lot of musicians, a lot of people, whether it was you know, people who lived in the house, or people on campus, or people coming through town. So, you know, at different times, we, you know, Urge Overkill stayed at our house. There was a couple of different houses we moved around, but over the course when I lived there, you know, you would see Jesus Lizard, or, you know, Steve Albini spent a lot of time at our house. You might know Steve Albini. It was a really interesting collection of characters there, and it sort of kind of focused around a lot around, you know, music and punk rock music, and you know, it was really interesting. It was a really interesting cultural thing in Champaign. You know, to be at the time in the '80s. Huge Greek presence on campus. I mean, there is now, but really at that time, it was really the heyday of the Greek system. And ironically, we were probably very similar to them in our activities, in many ways, in our social activities. But to be of a stature where we're, you know, having parties that were, you know, events and stuff that were of that level. But you know, we practiced in the basement. It was a really eclectic group of guys who lived there, and we met a whole bunch of people. And to this day, I'll be, you know, running across somebody, maybe even younger, who said they would come to our parties, and now they're a successful attorney or entertainment lawyer, or have done something substantial, and say like, oh yeah, I used to come skateboard in front of your house, you know. So fun times. I think it ebbs and flows. I think it's always been very strong. There's been lots of talent. I think it's, every now and then you get the convergence of, you know, whether it's Hum, who, you know, wrote some great songs and struck a nerve at the right time, or the Poster Children, who just worked their asses off, and, you know, they were great, but boy, they were smart, and they, you know, they worked really, really, really hard. Same thing with the Digits. Rick Sims, man, he was like a drill sergeant. I mean, you talk about, you have this perception of, oh, it's some crazy guys, you know, but we took it very, very seriously and worked very, very hard. And you know, like I said, it's always been a really rich musical scene, and now it's no exception. I mean, you see some really talented people, you see some people who work really hard, you see some really savvy people, and the whole culture of music has changed in that you don't have these twin tone or Reptile records. You don't have these little $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 record deals. Go make a record, press some records. It's really changed to where, you know, it's a DIY culture and attitude, and it's harder to tour. It's more expensive. So you know, the kids got to figure it out. The music's the same though. I think there's always good music. There's always talented people. We live in a great community, and it has a rich history of that, and it has a rich history of competition too. You know, between the bands. I remember, you know. Rick from the Digits was big no bones about telling you sucked, you know, and it would just make you want to, you know, go out and be that much better, or having rivalries between bands and stuff like that. So, you know, and I think that's good. It doesn't have to all be touchy feely. It is a business. They don't call it the music business for nothing, you know. So, but you know, I'm so lost on it anymore. I don't even know. I can only presume what goes on from the people I talk to, my friends who are still in bands and are still doing interesting things. Two Beers with Dylan Heath is a great little project. I'd really like to see something like that take off. There's always interesting, creative people doing different things. You know, Pygmalion Music Festival is just remarkable. I mean, good Lord, boy, just the tireless work of Seth Fine to make that thing happen. You know, good for him. So that's great. Good for us. Good for the city. You know, Mayor's been a lot of fun. When I was a stinky punk rock guy, and you know, we'd make fun of REO Speedwagon because we were just so cool and blah blah blah. But I'll tell you what, I had the opportunity, played Gloria with them after I was sworn in at the Red Lion, and what a great bunch of guys who just love playing music. I mean, like or hate their music, you just can't deny the fact that these guys are living the dream. They play music, they love it, they love their fans. They're really great. They're really genuine and sincere. And they can play, you know, and it was really a fun thing to do. Yeah, since I've been mayor, just there's so many things. It's just, it seems like every day I wake up and something, you know, that I'll remember happens. We've had a lot of, oh gosh, I can't even begin to talk about mayor stuff. As far as music history, there's a lot of things as well. I mean, I remember seeing the Replacements play at Mabel's, and you know, with Bob Stinson. We're standing out on the back dock, and there's some drunk throwing up off the back of the loading dock, and someone walks by and slaps him on the back and says, "Come on, Bob, time to play." And it's Bob Stinson, and he goes right up, and he's boom, you know, and it's just louder than God, and so powerful, and you know, and then other things, seeing Dinosaur Jr. at Trito's Uptown and Flaming Lips in this little tiny pizza place with a few other people, and a lot of really remarkable moments along the way, and seeing my friends. You know, it's it's been fun for me to, you know, we knew them, then they kind of became big stars, sort of, you know, and a little bit distanced, and then you live in the same town, and you wind up sitting next to Matt Talbot at the ice rink on a Saturday morning while both your kids are playing, like, you know, club hockey or whatever, you know, and we sit there and drink our coffee and shoot the crap, and it's like we're dads now. So, you know, yeah, there's a million of them. We need more pizza for all those, but you know, those are probably a few. There's a few good ones. For all intents and purposes, it was a major label. When you're immersed in those types of things, you always think you deserve more and you want to be more. So even though we had hotel rooms and a nice van, and we're getting paid, you know, a fairly princely sum of per diems and budgets and things, and spent a whole bunch of money recording our last record, and had a producer who went on to win Grammys with working with Sheryl Crow. So, you know, rented a house in Bloomington, Indiana, recorded at Echo Park, which was owned by Mike Wanchek, who was the guitar player for John Mellencamp. And you're just sort of, you kind of get into this, and you know, you're backstage at a Typo Negative Anthrax show or something, or hanging out with Dimebag Darrell, and it's kind of like being a politician now. It's sort of like once you're in it, it becomes your life and part of it. But it's even funnier now for me to think, like, I'll see Soul Asylum, and I'll see Dave Pirner at the Sweet Corn Festival. You know, they had their hit. They had, you know, he played at the White House. He dated Winona Ryder, all kinds of like just crazy stuff. But when I'm talking to him, it's still Dave, who I'm sitting on some beat up couch in someone's living room after playing with them at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, you know, opening for them at some stinky club. You know, it's just the same guys. But you know, it was an interesting time. I think it had its moments. It's almost more stressful when you have that level to the expectations. Most fun I ever had, played a band called Steve Pride as Bloodkin with Jay Bennett, who went on to play Wilco, you know, at that same time when we were playing together. And if you Google us now, we were, you know, these grandfathers and pioneers of the scene and pre-alt country, and we invented the term and blah blah blah, when really at the time we just figured we weren't very popular. You know, we were just doing something that nobody liked very much at the time. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience, and playing with Jay Bennett, just probably one of the most instrumental musicians, certainly that I've ever known, but probably that has ever lived. He was just a remarkable individual. The guy had things going on. He was just, he could pick up any instrument and play it. He had stuff going on in his head you can't even imagine. The guy had multiple advanced degrees in mathematics and different things, and just really, truly a genius. He passed away a few years ago, and I really miss him. But that was like one of the, you know, greatest times in my life, was living with him in a house and just playing music. Like almost every day we played, you know, just hours and hours, played something. So it was a lot of fun. I think if I had to choose, it probably would just be a deep dish mushroom and sausage pizza, because I'm from Chicago, and I think I have tomato paste coursing through my veins. Tomato paste and sausage grease. So. I think, you know, my top records would be Clem Snide, Your Favorite Music. I think is like, it's my blues. It's one of my, I can listen to it any time, and it always like, it fits my mood, and it's never grown old. I really love that record. As far as local things, there was a band called Weird Summer, and I can pick cuts from them that I just absolutely love. There's been a lot of great local bands that over the years who've wound up on my mixtapes, or I have them in my collection. You know, I'm liking a lot of stuff that Ryan Groff's involved with. He just, you know, he's immense talent. Gosh, I don't know. I like the new Glenn and Campbell record. Got some good songs on there. Yeah, I don't know if there's some. Archers of Loaf, Icky Metal, best records ever made. You put it, I put it on, and I don't want to. It's like I become, you know, that OCD. I don't want to turn. I can't. I have to listen to the next song because I know the next song is coming. And that's a really amazing record. I've been to Washington, D.C. a couple of times on legislative trips, and I really love it. So I would definitely not rule out someplace down the line, you know, trying to take it a little further. I have a friend whose wife is one of Al Franken's, Senator Al Franken's principal advisors and assistants, and not advisor but assistant. And you know, he started out on Saturday Night Live as a comedian, and now he's like one of the most respected members of the Senate. So, you know, just never say never. You never know what's going to happen or what's going to happen. So I think that I can speak these guys' language, and I enjoy, and I like getting things done. I like, you know, when you find someone who's really passionate about serving their constituency, it's really inspiring. It's something a lot of people don't want any part of because it seems like a lot of work, and you have to have a really thick skin. But you know, when you're playing in I don't know, Mobile, Alabama on a Tuesday night, and there's 4 people in the crowd, and one of them's yelling, "You suck," the whole time. You know, it kind of toughens you up. So maybe I'm kind of out for it. This is Mayor Don Gerard, Champaign, Illinois. And when I'm on the internet, I'm most likely on pizzafm.org, and you should be too.